everybody, and welcome to the Psychic Hour. This is Katie Weaver. I'm here with my sister, co host, and partner in all things psychic, Kristi Brower. Hello.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
How's it
It's
going?
Thursday.
Yeah,
It's good. It's just, you know, hot. But other than that, it's good.
boy, it is. It is hot. Yeah, there's an ongoing battle going on in my living room because there's a fan plugged in the window right in front of my recliner. It's kind of the
Hmm.
only place that fan can go. It's the only window it makes sense in, except for that, then I can't hear a damn thing.
Oh,
So if
oh,
I'm
yeah.
sitting in that chair, I can't hear anything really because I can't hear anyway. So then Scott will try to speak to me from somewhere in the house and I can't hear him. So I unplug the fan so that I can hear him. And then he's like, "Why is that fan unplugged?" Okay, dude, you can talk to me or you can have a fan, but you can't have
Right. Get a clue. Oh, it's
both.
110 where Amy is. Oh, my God.
Oh, Amy, have you heard of the missing boy there? There is a trans kid, a 13-year-old trans boy missing from Amy's town in Oklahoma, and
Oh,
his name is Oliver, but apparently the news has mostly just dead named the hell out of him and
oh,
uh,
no.
are referring to him, by his female name and female pronouns, and it's caused all this confusion. And anyway, I had wondered if you'd
Hmm.
seen that case, but yeah,
Yikes.
if
Not
not,
good.
Amy, look for it if you haven't. Yeah, in Norman. Yeah, yeah. I don't know his last name. His first name is Oliver.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway,
Interesting.
I've been thinking about that case and thinking that Amy lives there. So uh, that's all. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Where is Kelly at? Which Kelly? Lana, I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Me either.
Yeah. Oh, Crystal says it is rainy in the UK.
Oh,
88
oh,
degrees where
yes.
Renee's at.
Hmm.
Yeah, take
We're
some
going to hit
rain
100
right
on
now.
Sunday.
What's that?
Blah. We're going to hit 100 on Sunday.
I know. What? Why?
Not cool.
But then it cools down some. So
Yeah.
we'll take it. Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much what's up. Mars finally got
Mhm.
home from her trip today, so she finally got to connect with her new puppy. So she is
Oh,
over the moon, and so is the baby. She also
oh,
immediately
good.
peed on her, so that seems legit. That's correct.
So it's prepping her for motherhood. Good, good, good.
All right. Yep. The first thing any good puppy should do is definitely pee on you. So
Well, that is what I've heard.
yeah.
Babies do it too. So yeah.
hmm Yep. Yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Here we are, lazy as hell. We're just kind of in that part of summer where you're just there's
Doesn't
no
do anything.
motivation at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact,
Nor do you cook. We don't cook anything this time of year.
us either. And it's gotten kind of ridiculous. But every night by about 10, I'm like, well, that's like, well, then we get in the car and we go find out what's closed. So
At 10 o'clock?
yeah. Nobody's
I've
home.
already been in bed for an hour by then.
I was going to show you guys a picture of the puppy in case you haven't seen her yet.
Oh,
This is
Nelly.
Miss Nellie. Boy, is she and the boy's getting a lot more comfortable. Actually running and playing, cuddling a little bit. Yeah, we're
Oh,
gonna be okay.
good.
Yeah, thank goodness. We brought her home on Tuesday, and they were so naughty to her on Tuesday that by the time I went to bed that night, I was sick of everybody in this house, including me. I was over it. Yeah, yeah,
Shamey. Shamey kids.
yeah. Oh gosh, Amy found it. She said not only did they go missing in my town, that intersection is maybe a football field from my house. Oh,
Oh, wow, Amy. Yikes.
shoot. Really scary. Yep. Oh, she thought we had Kelly tonight. Oh, we don't.
Oh,
We ought to have Kelly again soon, though.
yeah, we haven't had her in a while. We should have her on.
We haven't, and she has some really cool stuff going on right now that she's doing. We got to bring her on to
Yes, she does. That's
talk
true.
astrology and share her new stuff.
Hmm. Oh, Renee says, I have air conditioning so I can cook. You know what? I
Mm,
have air conditioning too. I still don't want to cook. I hardly even want to eat. Like, it's just, mm.
yeah.
You know how some people have like seasonal affective disorder in the winter? I think
Hmm.
I have it in the summer
Yeah.
because I don't like this time of year. Like, this hottest part of the summer, no bueno to me. I
Hmm.
stay inside and stay out of it.
Yeah. No. Hell's no. Yeah. Well, we have our most pressing and typical question here on the show. Per always, what did you have for dinner?
Well, we ordered from Thai Kitchen and I had Thai
Oh,
style cashew chicken and it was so good.
nice.
And there's so much of it, it will probably feed me 2 more times,
Hmm.
especially
Awesome.
this time of year. Like 2 or 3 bites. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah. That
But I
was.
am also having a Stella Rosa blueberry wine spritzer thing,
Hmm.
which I would feels a lot better to have than food.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, we actually did have dinner already tonight, which is a miracle for us. But we
Right?
picked Mars up from her trip, and she was starving. Anyway, we had carne asada fries from our favorites taco
Ooh,
bus in Idaho Falls. It's the
good stuff.
that burrata, burrilla, not burrata, burrilla taco
Berea
bus that
place.
is
Yeah.
amazing, and their carne
So
asada
good.
fries are unmatched. So, but I'm with you. I had like 5 bites of mine and put it in the fridge.
Hmm.
It's just too hot. Just can't do
Mm,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. JR had chocolate covered almonds and strawberry Greek yogurt. Wow. That's
Nice.
a nice
See?
combo.
That seems like a good summer meal.
Cranky had homemade meatballs and peas and beans from her garden. Oh, for the love. Okay,
Nice.
Cranky. Amazing.
I am impressed.
Amy had Subway. Sherry had Giordano's deep dish pizza in Chicago. Damn.
Ooh.
Well, that doesn't sound terrible. Yeah.
Hmm.
We also had crumble. We had a crumble cookie that was so good yesterday that we had to go back today and get another one.
You did
Yeah. Well,
that lemon
mostly
cream
it's
pie one, huh?
yes, lemon cream pie. Good Lord.
I
Mostly
was
it was
looking at it
because
today.
it's Marcia's best friend's birthday. And she is just getting ready to leave on a mission for her church, and she'll be gone for a year and a half. So we're kind of hurrying to celebrate her while she's still home. And yeah, anyway, she loves crumbles. So I had gone there to get her a cookie for her birthday. And well, what are you supposed to do?
If you're there and they're right
Yeah.
there, I mean,
Yeah.
seems wrong not to.
It seems silly, really. Amy said it's too hot there, too. RJ had sloppy joes. Crystal had nothing yet. And Renee had pork chops and sauerkraut. Well,
Ooh, yum.
looks like everybody's on it.
Hmm.
The other day, Scott said, "Don't we have like a suddenly salad in the cupboard?" I said, "We do." Okay, because I do like a good pasta salad in the summer, with some additions to turn it into more of a meal.
Hmm.
I freestyled a little too hard.
Oh no.
First of all, who bought this? It was the like pasta salad kind, like not with like a more like a mayonnaise base, but more like the
Oh,
vinegary base. I don't even like
uh
those.
huh.
I did not buy that. Scott bought that.
That's the one our nephew likes.
Yeah,
That's the one Jack likes.
yeah. I don't. But I was like, well, so I could make it into more of like a macaroni salad type thing, right? Okay, so that was fine. That actually tasted really good. But and then I'm like, yeah, but if I add a couple of things to it, it'll make a whole meal out of it. Yeah, I flew too close to the sun. So I put a can of corn and a can of black beans. Okay, we're doing fine. Both of those things were good.
Sure, sure.
Then I put a can of olives. All right, we're okay.
Okay, okay.
And then, you guys, I don't know what possessed me, but I diced up a bunch of kielbasa and put in there.
Hmm.
That's where I messed up.
That was a no, huh?
That was a no. It was weird. Scott said, it's like having your hot dog and macaroni salad all in one bite.
I
It
mean,
was, I got to, yep, I freestyled too hard. So don't do that. You'll probably won't like it, but
certainly possible.
yeah. Anyway, Oh, Amy says no info on Oliver anywhere other than they are missing. I'll do some more looking. I found this on Twitter and there was a little bit, but not a lot. Not a lot. Actually, unfortunately, if you can find Oliver's dead name, you'll find a lot more. Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. Lynn said kielbasa should have been fine. She puts pepperoni in hers or salami. Okay, see?
Mm-hmm. I've had that. That is good.
Mm-hmm. That was kind of what I was shooting for, you know. I also
Mm-hmm.
had fresh mozzarella in the fridge that I thought would be good, but it looked to me like it needed to be thrown away, so it got
Oh,
thrown away. But
gotcha.
anyway, well, it sounds like everybody is doing just fine. We thought that it would be fun to do another training type show. Last time we did a show like this, we taught you a new card spread, and that was
Mm-hmm.
fun. So we thought it might be fun tonight to play with pendulums. So, ta-da!
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Ta-da! I brought a
Ta-da!
couple.
Wow, look at you
Yeah,
freestyling with two.
got two, a wooden one and a resin one. This was a mold. I made this from a unicorn horn mold. The tip of it. Just the tip. Right?
Oh God! These straight people are always making gross jokes around me. I want you to know. And they think it's funny to gross me out.
We're always over here ruining your gay marriage. I know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, really tough on my gay marriage.
Oh, Lana said it was me she was thinking of. It's okay, Lana. It is hot, man. And I'll bet where
It
you're
is.
at, it is hot as hell because it really gets hot out there. Those hills just
Yeah.
bake.
Oh, yeah.
However, you did give me a great idea because it's been a hot minute since we had Kelly and we should have her come back. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so if you don't have a pendulum and you want to play along, yes, you do. Because all you need is the necklace.
Yep.
Just a necklace that has a decent sized yep, pendant
Just
on it.
something that's a
will
little
work.
heavy hanging from it.
Mhm.
You need it to have a little bit of weight to it, but it doesn't have to be super heavy. Like, some
No.
people use a needle on a thread.
Yeah.
Don't recommend that. It's not heavy enough to really give you a good spin and give you some good information.
Mhm.
I don't think needles work very well.
JR thinks my pendulums look like butt plugs. This one, that's exactly what my kids said about these when I made them. And yeah. So why
Well,
indeed?
geez, mine doesn't. It's just a little innocent rose quartz.
Unicorn horn, butt plug. Apparently they go hand in hand. Who knew?
I did not know.
Actually, this pendulum is pretty cool because it
Oh yeah.
is chambered. So you can screw the lid off. And in fact, one of you, I mailed you one of these a few days ago. I think you know who you are. And yours opens up too, I'm pretty sure. So try
That's
it. But
cool.
yeah,
Hey,
they
Spirit, good
open.
to see you.
I mean, it's a tiny little opening, but I don't think that the
Put a
butt
little herb
plug
in
would.
there,
No.
or drop some oil in it.
Yeah, you could put some essential oil. You could certainly put a little bit of little tiny crystal. Yeah, a little bit of an herb, a little bit of a. You could probably even like roll up a dollar bill tight enough to stick in there if you wanted to put money in it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Oh, JR, you are dirty minded tonight. Mine's a ball. I'll get another one so I can have two, right? Right? Put your contraband in there. I said herb. Wink, wink,
Mhm.
wink.
Yeah. I don't know. The problem is, how do you get gummies out of this? I don't know.
Okay. Valid question.
Or even in it, really. I mean, you could put gummies in there and like poke them in with a stick or something, but then
Then I'll come back out.
they're in. They are
Mhm.
in. Yep. Oh, Amy said she uses pendulums all the time. Yeah, I like pendulums. I've used pendulums for a long time. Really, the first metaphysical tool I ever had was a pendulum.
Yeah, me too.
So, Kristi, will you take us through the process of selecting and clearing a pendulum?
Sure. So, if you're just going to use a necklace that you normally wear, that's a great way. But if
Mhm.
you want to like purchase a pendulum, pendulums are kind of picky. And when we had our metaphysical store, we stood there with people all the time testing pendulums. You
Mhm.
need a pendulum that will swing over your hand.
Mhm.
See, like that one's doing its thing. Some pendulums you'll pick it up and it will stand perfectly still. That is the
Or
wrong
bounce.
pendulum for you. Yes, or
Yeah.
bounce. Either of those things is an indication that's not the right energy for you.
Yep.
So you kind of have to test them out. Pendulums are a little bit picky. They're kind of funny that
Mhm.
way. It's also a good idea to carry a pendulum with you if you're going to use it regularly because you just want to get it attuned to your energy. They're very specific. You don't want someone else using your pendulum because you want it to be attuned to your energy because it's really actually just reading your energy body. It just becomes an extension of your intuition and of your energy body. So you want to carry it with you, sleep with it under your pillow, that kind of thing is a great way to get it connected to you. There are stone, glass, metal, wood, resin. I mean, every kind of pendulum you can possibly think of, there are.
Oh yeah.
So no one is better than another. It's just that one material may resonate better with you, or a stone will resonate better with you. It's also very helpful if they come to a pretty good point.
Mhm.
Because that helps you also to get more accurate information from them. But I mean, if you've just got a necklace on or have a necklace with something on the bottom,
Mhm.
with a pendant hanging from it, that will work too. And normally those will work for you because it's something you've already been wearing. So
Mhm.
it's something that is attuned to your energy.
Mhm.
So it doesn't it you can't pick a you can pick a wrong one if it won't read you.
Mhm.
So it's just one you want. Like if you go in a metaphysical store, pick them up, try them. Make sure that the
Yep.
one you like is also one that will spin for you.
Oh, for sure. Yep. You really need to. If you can't, if there's no metaphysical store around you and you just want to order a pendulum online, you can. Just know
Mhm.
that sometimes they are kind of picky. Yeah.
Yep. You might pick one that won't work for you, but it's if you're attracted to one in particular, normally it will work for
It's
you.
probably fine. Yeah. The only ones my husband can make spin at all are wooden ones.
Yeah, he for a
Metal,
long time thought
crystal,
they didn't work for him
glass.
at all.
Yeah. Until we ordered some metal or wooden ones into the store and he tried them, and lo and behold, wooden ones would work for him, but they are the only ones. Yeah.
Hmm.
Just his his energy. It's wild, but that's kind of how they
Well,
work.
he said for what did he used to say? What was it he used to say? He used to say something really funny. Like I have no energy or something like
Oh
that
yeah.
because the pendulum would not spin for him in our
Yeah.
store. He was convinced that there was something wrong with him, but
Yeah. Pretty
not
much.
really. Just got to find the right one.
Our first exposure to pendulums was thread and string at
Hmm.
girls' camp, which is crazy because this was Mormon girls' camp where we got in big trouble for gambling
I'm
and
sure they
for
would have been super pissed about divination.
doing blue darts in our tent. Uh, and
Yeah. We weren't
apparently
very
for
good at being Mormon, as you
bullying.
can tell. We weren't that good at it.
No, we weren't. We also got in trouble one year for bullying in our tent. We were definitely not bullying, but apparently somebody wanted to go to sleep earlier than everyone else did, and for that reason, we were accused of bullying. Um, we also got
Just because
accused of
we're
bullying
loud and we
because we
laugh a
were
lot.
having a lot of fun. Yeah,
And
and
someone was
more
a
fun than others. Yeah.
fun
Hi,
place. Yeah.
Kylie. So we weren't trying to bully. We're not
No.
bullies, but you know,
But we
apparently when
were always
people
in trouble for something.
always, yeah. But it was actually there that we learned how to use needles on thread. But it was the whole. Now this is very Mormon. The whole premise of it. The only question you were answering was how many babies you were going to have.
Hmm.
That was the whole thing. And you were supposed to take your needle and your thread. You were supposed to hold it above the person's wrist and then ask them to show you to spin right for girls and left for boys. And it works.
Right.
It does
It does
work, which
work.
is wild. Yeah.
I've also seen it work for determining the sex of a baby.
Yes.
That was something I saw when we were kids too. They'd hold it
Hmm.
over a pregnant woman's belly, and ask if the
Mm.
baby was a boy or a girl, and right would be girl and left would be boy.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, right is girl. I mean, let's just be real about that. That's
Duh.
right.
But yeah, I don't know. I always felt like those needles just they don't turn very much because there's not of much
They
weight.
don't. It's pretty. That's pretty subtle. The motions
Hmm.
of it are, but I also think it's kind of a like an old
Old wives' tale kind of thing.
wives' tale kind of thing. Yeah,
Hmm.
interesting. And then when we
Well,
came home talking about it, my mom was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen other people do that before," and we were like, "Really?" Yeah. Hers, it was
well,
interesting because we did it to her, and it told her how many children she had had, including her baby that died. It was
yeah,
actually super accurate. Yeah.
was. Well, but I think the needle and thread that was an acceptable thing to own versus an actual pendulum, which was certainly not because divination
Yes,
not
exactly.
allowed
Yeah. But a needle and
of the
thread,
devil, whatever.
you could have that as long as you were darning your husband's socks or something.
Oh, Renee says once I bought a gorgeous clear quartz one online, but had it for just a short time, then it disappeared. So I guess that one was a no for me. Pendulums disappear and
Mm.
reappear. That is a
Well,
thing
well, with
with
that
pendulums.
pendulum that you showed up in Colorado with that you didn't pack.
Yes, yeah. We went to a trade show for our metaphysical store, and yeah, I didn't pack any pendulums, but when we got there, there was one in my bag,
Hmm.
and I was like, "What the hell? I didn't even bring this."
Yeah.
I mean, I could think about where it was sitting at home, and yet it was in my luggage.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? They do
That's
travel. I
okay.
mean, what about your pendulum that disappeared and reappeared several times over years?
Yeah, it was the first one I ever bought. It was marble. It was shaped like the one that you have, but it
Yeah.
was marble. And I bought it in West Yellowstone, of all places. And I kept it in my purse because I like to have it with me in case I wanted to figure something out.
Yeah.
And li- like most moms, you put all kinds of crazy shit in your purse just in case you might need it. And my pendulum was one of those things.
Yeah.
But I had it disappeared like from my purse one day, and it was gone for a couple of years. I'd already replaced it and moved on, but I always was like, I wonder where that went because I loved that pendulum. It was the most accurate pendulum I'd ever had. And then I did a totally unrelated thing. I had just planted my garden in the spring, and I did a brown candle magic spell to bless my crops. I woke
Yeah.
up the next morning and that freaking pendulum was in the middle of the living room floor, like laid out, the string out long, like somebody had really, or the chain, like really laid it out. And I was like, what the hell? So at the time, I had a home daycare. So when we went to bed at night, this house was spotless so that I was ready for those kids to show up the next morning. So I knew that that wasn't there when I went to bed the night before. It couldn't have been, but there it was. And
Yeah.
so what I learned is that there is the candle magic. Brown candles are also for the fairies. And it was my belief, it still is my belief, that that pendulum was stolen from me by the fae. And when I did that candle spell, they brought my pendulum back to me. And I had it again for a couple of years, and then it vanished again, and I have never seen it again. That was a long
Have
time
you
ago.
burned any brown candles?
I probably haven't. Maybe I should try it one more time.
Maybe you should.
Okay,
That is
mofros.
funny. So you never
Time
know,
to
Renee.
pony
That
up.
one might show up. It might
Wouldn't
just
that be
show up
weird?
in the weirdest place
Mm-hmm.
because they are like that.
Mm-hmm. They really are. It's wild.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. So, but talk to us about blessing a pendulum.
So blessing a pendulum is just like blessing any other magical object you're going to use, like a stone. Hold it in your hands. And if yours is made of stone, you can clear it with salt. You can put it out in the moonlight, or you can just visualize beaming white light from your third eye into it to clear it. And then you bless it. And you bless it that it will give you true and accurate information.
Yeah.
Just hold it in your hands and bless it that this pendulum will give me true and accurate information. And if you've got a pendulum that's been really accurate and then starts being less accurate, it just needs to be cleared. So clear it whichever way you prefer, set it in salt overnight or something,
Yep.
and then use it again, and you'll find that it kind of returns to its accuracy.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, it might be that it's time for a new pendulum. They kind
Hmm.
of sometimes give up or wear out and
Hmm.
just stop responding. And if they do
Yep.
that and you've cleared them and blessed them and they still don't do anything, get a new one. They have funny little spirits about them.
Yep. Yep. They do.
Oh, and Amy said, I learned at Baptist church camp and was told that it was okay because there is some Bible verse that talks about God puts your whole life in the palm of your hand or something like that. Oh,
Oh,
I
interesting.
I don't know that. And then Amy said palmistry was still evil, but it's a pick and choose kind of religion. Yes, correct.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, and Cranky has a small rose quartz one that you used to wear as a necklace. And you can wear your pendulum as a necklace.
Oh, for
You
sure.
can take the pendulum itself and take it off its chain and put it on a regular necklace chain if you want to.
Hmm. Yeah.
Do I polish my own stones? I don't. It does not change the stone's energy though to polish it. The energy of a stone stays the same no matter what you do to it, unless it is treated with radiation. And a lot of like fine jewelry gemstones are
Hmm.
treated with radiation because that burns away imperfections inside the stone and that destroys the energy of a stone. But that's the
Hmm.
only thing that does.
Yeah.
Everything else that we do to stones, it doesn't hurt their energy at all.
Mm-mm.
No, and actually, that's why I don't wear like fine jewelry, quality grade jewelry because of that. Those stones are dead.
Yeah.
To make them perfect, they destroyed the energy of them.
Hmm. Yeah. There was a lady one time that came on our radio network that we had always said that about stones and that raw stones are great and the cheaper stones are fine and whatever. And she came on as a guest on another host show, not ours, and gave those listeners this whole song and dance about how unless your stones are cut and polished into fine jewelry, they are completely worthless. And it really like upset people and confused
Mm,
people. And her
I
stone,
was furious.
her jewelry was hundreds of dollars for a small piece. That bitch was
Yeah,
just trying to sell stuff and say stuff.
right.
It was appalling. It was like, no, you
It
can buy
was.
a 99-cent piece of onyx or carnelian, and yes, it is the energy of it's perfect.
It is.
Yeah, that was awful, but that's the only time I've heard people say that is from somebody who was trying to sell something.
Someone who was making jewelry. And some people say, you have to have raw stones. And it just isn't true. Raw
No.
stones and polished stones, they have the same energy, they have the same vibration. It's just preference, really.
Mhm.
I like smooth stones personally
Mhm.
because I'm a big, like, worry stone, rub my
Yeah.
stone with my thumb kind of person. And so I like smooth things. And so for stones that I carry around, I prefer for them to be polished. Bigger pieces I like to have raw.
Yeah.
But it the energies, you know, it's all good energy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, to get going with a pendulum, you have to find out if you're a righty or a lefty.
Or up and down and side to sider.
Uppy downy, sidey sidey. Yeah.
Mhm.
And sometimes you'll have one pendulum that is one way and another pendulum that's another. So you
Yeah.
have to ask and figure it out. So to do it, hold up your pendulum. You don't have to keep the string super long. You can wrap it up a little bit in your hand if you're pinching it off with your thumb. Don't do this and let the chain get all fucked up in it. If you do that, then you're not going to get an accurate anything because you're
Mhm.
throwing it off. But you can hold the chain at whatever length is comfortable for you. Hold it over your hand like this. So I'm going to ask this pendulum to show me yes. So it's thinking, it's doing some back and forth action. Yep. And now it's going to give me a clockwise yes, which is really normal for me.
Mhm.
And I'm going to
Yeah,
tell
me
it to
too.
stop and show me no. So I'm getting a good counterclockwise no. Stop. And show me you don't know.
Is it just shaking?
It's just get
No.
yeah, it got pretty still. It's just doing a little bounce. Sometimes you'll have a pendulum that does a little bounce like that. Sometimes it does a pretty significant bounce while it's thinking. And then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it'll start moving and sometimes it won't. But I like to ask that last piece, like, show me that you don't know. Because not everything is
Mm-hmm.
known. Not everything you get to know the answer to. So
Right.
it's nice to ask that question so that you kind of know if my pendulum just sits here and bounces, and never goes any direction, that's my answer. That you don't know or you don't get to know. So once you've determined that, then you can start asking some questions. If your hands are shaky, then make sure that the hand that you're putting it over is on a table, and make sure that your elbow is either tucked in tight or on a table
Yeah,
so
just
that
plant your
you
elbows.
mhm, or yeah, or dig them in tight to your sides, so that you're holding super straight. Yeah, just do the best you can with
And
that.
usually you hold the pendulum in your dominant hand and hold the pendulum over your non-dominant hand.
Hmm.
If that doesn't seem to work for you, swap. But for most people, that's the configuration.
Hmm. The only exception to that would be if you are using a board or a chart or a map, or something you wrote. And we'll talk about doing some stuff like that. But to just start using your pendulum, you just have to start crafting some questions. Pendulums are yes, no, but you can get a lot more detailed than yes, no if you ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And so you can start asking your question, start with a yes, no question, and then you can kind of spin off from there and ask more questions. They just need to be a yes, no question. So, for example, if I ask, if I had, let's say I had my keys were lost, and I asked, are my keys in the house? And it says yes. Then I could ask, are my keys in my bedroom? Are my keys in the living room? Are my keys, under something? Are they in my purse? Are they in the washer? You can start narrowing it down by just asking more and more questions. But
Yeah,
you
it
do
is
kind of
just a
have to
whole
remember.
narrow down process. That's my favorite way to do it rather than to use a chart is just to
Mhm,
start narrowing it down with yes or no questions.
mhm. Now, if you want to use a chart or a map, the best way to do it, uh, well, for example, years ago, Scott and I were repo agents for a little while, believe it or not. We stole cars for a living for legally, and it was really kind of scary
Yeah.
and kind of fun. We did it for a couple of years. We had a lot of stories to tell, that's for sure. But anyway, but the energy of like the lack of it from the bank, from the people, like it wasn't good for our finances. And I finally went, we have to stop doing this. It's not good. But anyway, while we were doing it, some of the banks got to where they would contact us when there were cars that nobody else had been able to find because we were finding them. And how were we finding them? With a pendulum. So, especially if they could give us an idea of what town they thought they were in, I'd just get a map. So, let's say I was looking for a car that the bank is telling me they know it's in Rexburg, they just don't know where. So, I would print off of a street map of Rexburg, and then I would take a marker and I would cut it in fourths so that I have this much. So I have 4 quadrants. And
Hmm.
then you take that pendulum, right? You go to each quadrant is the Lost Monte Carlo in this part of town.
Hmm.
Is the Lost Monte Carlo in this part of town? In this part of town? In this part of town? And once you get one of the quadrants that tells you yes, then you take that quadrant and you take your marker and you cut it into fourths. And then you go to those little quadrants. Is it the Lost Monte Carlo in this part of town, this part of town, this part of town? And then once you get that little spot, Well, in this town, you probably just go get in the car because
Yeah.
that's probably small enough. But but you could cut that in half again and keep narrowing that window until you find what you're looking for. Um, some other questions, of course, would have been: is it visible from the street? Is it in a garage? Is it in a shop? Is it behind a house? Things like that to help you get a sense of where it actually is on that person's property. And you could also always ask, is it possible to find this car? Because sometimes it's just not. But
Locked up somewhere where you'll never find it.
well, we weren't the best because we didn't always repo cars. Sometimes we left them. If somebody's story was sad enough, we'd probably leave it.
Yeah.
We did that multiple times. You'd have a mom that's like, I am a single mom with 3 kids and I'm doing the best I can and I can pay this bill next week. We'd be like, see you later. We'd leave their car. Because what kind of monster, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah. But oh yeah, cranky. There was one flatbed truck that we had found that like literally nobody had been able to find, and we found it, and the when we got there to repo it, and we had to take a wrecker with us because this was a big like an industrial truck, so we had to hire a wrecker to come with us to get it. Our truck wasn't big enough, and when we went to repo it, their neighbor was there drinking with them, and he was totally tossed. And he jumped in the cab of this truck and refused to get out and was screaming at us that if we repoed this, he was going to charge us with kidnapping. So we had already called the sheriff's office and told them that we were there to get this car, and they had told us to be really careful because this person happened to have a record and was known for domestic violence, and like so they were like they had an officer nearby because they're like this could get wild. But this guy that gets in the car and won't get out, so I called dispatch and I'm like, what do we do? And they're like, take your car. They're like, just take it. I'm like, but this guy is in it and he says it's going to be kidnapping. And they're like, uh-huh. Well, he got in there on purpose, so no, it's not. So we pulled it out to the road with him in it, and he got out. That's one of the crazier things that happened. But the guy kept saying, how did you find this? How did you find this? The bank didn't have my address. The bank didn't have my address. How did you find this? We're like, oh, bitch.
It's a secret. We can't tell you.
With this pendulum, fool. No, I didn't tell him anything. I was just like, well, bye.
That's funny. I forgot about when that happened.
Always, I'll always think about how funny that was, especially the way dispatch was like, take him. We don't care.
We're not going to arrest you for it. That's pretty funny.
Like charge you because he got in there and refused to get out. It's not even his property. It belongs to the bank. So he's trespassing. So take him. Yeah. But we didn't have to drag that very far out of the driveway, and he was getting out. So
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's how to narrow down if you want to use a map. You can do that in your house too. We used to play psychic games with the kids, and we'd do that. So we'd play a game where you would hide a spoon in the house, and then the kids would either draw a map of the house to find it, or if we were like confined to one room, they would just start walking very carefully and slowly through the room with their pendulum until it started to spin, and they would find the spoon.
Mm-hmm.
That works.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, if you're looking for something in your house, you can literally just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Start walking around, maybe even narrow it down to the room and then start walking through the room, and it will start spinning bigger and bigger and bigger as you it's sort of like playing hot and cold,
Mm-hmm.
getting closer and closer, it spins bigger.
Mm-hmm. For sure. One way we've used pendulums in the past is in space clearings.
Yeah.
It's the last thing you do before you bless the space is to make sure it's clear. So after you've done all of the smudging, the singing bowl or the bell, the rose water, when all of your job is done, you walk out to the center of the home, wherever you feel like is the most center point. You stick your pendulum out and you ask, is this space fully clear? and then you wait for the answer. I'm surprised to say
Sometimes
that
we
my
get it by
space is fully clear. Oh no, I'm getting a no. That's
you're
actually a
getting,
no. No, it's not. If it's no, then you start asking questions. Is it
hmm
in the basement? Is the basement clear? Is the main floor clear? And narrow it down until you get to the master bedroom, the bed, because that's what it will be,
every time.
or the utility room.
Yes. The furnace room or the master bed
Yep,
every
almost
time.
always. Yep.
Because beds take a little extra work to clear.
Or sometimes weirdly it'll be like in the corner of a bedroom or something, like totally
hmm
unexpected,
Like energy's just stuck somewhere.
stuck there. And then you go back in with your tools and you re-clear that space. Then you go back and you ask the pendulum yet again, is this space completely clear? And you keep working until you get a clear yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will right off the bat, but a lot of times you don't. But usually it's just one thing where you've just got some really dense energy for some reason. Why, Sherry? Sometimes beds are really bad for just taking on a lot of energy because that's where so many things happen.
Well, and you think about a master bedroom, that's two people generally. So
Hmm.
that's the energy of two people in a bed. And beds just hold energy, and you might be sick in a bed or grieving in a bed, or you might be sleeping in a bed where a marriage ended,
Hmm.
and you're still sleeping in the old bed.
Yeah,
So
a million
beds
reasons for
sometimes
the bed.
extra work to
Yeah.
clear.
One time we cleared a house where there had been a traumatic death and we could not get the master bed to clear for anything. And I finally looked under the bed, wondering, like, what the
Oh my
F is with
god,
this bed?
this killed me.
Oh, it was I don't know, easily 20 firearms under the bed. Easily 20. Probably a lot
Yeah,
more. There was a
there have been
ton
a
of guns
firearm
under the
death
bed.
in the house.
Yeah. And
We're sleeping
that,
on all those guns.
yeah.
It was weird.
And the guns, that bed was just taking on. And not that the guns are good nor bad energetically. It's just that there's a lot of energy associated with them,
hmm Well, and
from use
especially in that situation.
in that situation. Yeah, for sure. Man, it took a lot of work to clear that up.
It did.
Yeah. And on that note, don't store stuff under your bed unless you absolutely have to, because that is a hotbed. Hotbed. Do you see what I did there?
The bed
Uh,
is a hotbed,
for
especially this time of year. I don't know.
stuck energetic chaos. Yeah.
It is. Sometimes you have to like strip your bed and cover it in salt and like rose petals and let it sit for a couple of hours and then vacuum all of that off.
Hmm.
And the salt will suck up, because salt is a crystal,
Hmm.
will suck up the negative energy that's stuck there, and the roses will kind of bring in a positive energy. And
Hmm.
that's one good way to do it if your bed just doesn't want to clear.
Yeah. If your bed's feeling like heavy, if you feel like every day when you get out of bed you're feeling really heavy, if you have been spending a lot of time in that bed during a depressed period, during a loss, during something that's been really emotionally hard, just clear your bed. Just just do it. I mean, it's not going to take very much of your time or effort, and it may help. So,
hmm
yeah. But I think the space clearing angle is an interesting way to use a pendulum. Some people use pendulums to find out which supplement to buy. If a piece of fruit, I've seen people in the grocery store with pendulums holding them over things like watermelons to
hmm
try and pick the ripest one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it works.
yeah.
Sometimes you can use it to determine like how many of a supplement you need to take at one time. Kind of
Hmm.
like muscle testing, you can use a pendulum for that same thing.
Hmm. Oh, Sherry said I have to have stuff under the bed so there's no room for monsters. Oh well, okay.
I
Yeah.
actually quite like that.
In that case,
I Yeah, I have clothes under my bed too, Cranky, because our bedroom's really small. So we have totes with a lot of our things under our bed and dust. Yeah.
yeah.
And stuff my Chewini chews up under there. Who knows what's under there, frankly? I don't even want to look.
Well, just clear that stuff every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's just where it's at. But That's the general way to use your pendulum. What did I miss?
Hmm. Um, well, it's just really important to get in the habit of asking a good question.
Yeah.
It's got to be a yes or no. It's got to be a very clear question. Also, never ask like a two-parter. Don't ask a two-part question.
No.
Ask one and then the other. Separate them out.
Mhm.
You can also set up other parameters, like with the is the baby a boy or a girl? Right is girl, left is boy. If you set up those parameters prior,
Mhm.
then your pendulum will answer you based on that. So it's not always a yes no. There can be two options, but you have to be
Yeah.
prepared for that.
So how you
But
would do that is just tell it. So you
mhm,
go, "Okay, I want to see clockwise for girls. Stop. I want to see counterclockwise for boys." You see how quick that did that?
yep.
That's all you would have to do.
It's
And then
just
the
an
next time you
extension of
use your
your energy
pendulum,
body.
yeah. And then the next time you use your pendulum, clear it and then reset whatever your intention is for it. It's not hard.
Hmm.
Again, yeah,
No,
it's
it,
just
it
an
isn't.
extension of your energy body. This is not hard to do.
But
It's
that's why it's
just,
really important to have a pendulum that really reads you well,
hmm,
because then it will pick those things up quickly.
yeah, most definitely. Oh, Amy said she uses hers a lot when she works with tarot to make sure she's on the right track with her reading. Yeah, smart.
It's a good idea. It's always a great way to just validate something.
Hmm.
Your intuition is telling you something, so then take out your pendulum and confirm it.
Hmm.
Sometimes, especially if you're really working on trusting your intuition, a pendulum can be really helpful.
Hmm. Cranky, can I conjure up something bad by doing this? I'm kind of afraid. You know, no. This is
No,
not like Ouija or something where you are tapping into something outside of yourself. You are tapping into yourself. This
no,
is your
you're just
energy. This is
yeah,
your energy. You're just creating a little gateway, a little cheat sheet to pull some information forward.
yep,
Yeah. So, no,
yeah. They cannot hurt you at all.
no, pendulums are safe. Another game that's fun to play with your pendulum is to take a deck of cards. You can use, like a oracle deck, or you could even just use playing cards
Hmm.
and shuffle them up and then spread them out and pick one, or have someone else pick one and look at it. And then once they have, the point is for have someone to touch it. So have someone pick it out so it's got their energy on it and they know what the card is. And then poke it back in your deck, put it all back together, shuffle it a few times, and then split them in half and ask your pendulum, is the card that Karen touched on this side or on this side? And it's going to give you a yes or no, right? So when you have your yes, then split it again and ask the question again and split it again until you've narrowed it down to the card, and then show
Hmm.
it to whoever your Karen is and ask them if that's the card. This works. This really we really ruined a camping trip one weekend doing this. Not really, but we had a former brother-in-law that was loved to do magic tricks, like just you know sleight of hand kind of magic and card tricks and stuff. So I devised this trick specifically for him, and I'm like, I'm going to show you a magic trick. So we do this trick, and he's like, how did you do it? I'm like, you watched me do it. He's like, yeah, but what's the trick? I'm like, there's no trick. It was magic. And he's like, no, there has to be some kind of a trick. How did you do it? He made me redo it for him like 4 times in a row, and it worked all 4 times. And he was astounded. And all weekend long, he hounded me about it. Just tell me how you did it. What was the hook? How did you do
Because
it?
he couldn't believe it was really just the pendulum.
Like it was just the pendulum. That's all it was. No, you had to have marked it, or you did you get your fingernail into it? Like how did you do that? No, it literally is an actual magic trick, and it works. But that's a fun way to practice. I think pendulums work better if you practice with them a little bit. Kristi and I
Definitely.
picked them up, and we're not actually doing questions tonight, babe. We're just learning about pendulums. But if you, at any rate, if you pick up Kristi and I, we both pick up our pendulums. We're very comfortable with them. They move for us immediately because we've been using
Mm,
them for a million years. But if you're brand new with them, it's probably going to take you a little bit of time practicing with them.
mm,
And do practice. Ask a lot of questions.
yeah. You can also use a pendulum to choose cards if you're doing a reading for yourself,
Hmm.
knock on your cards, shuffle them while you're asking your question, fan them out, and
Hmm.
then let your pendulums, hold your pendulum over the cards and ask it to spin over the right card to draw.
Yeah.
And some people actually draw cards that way.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, practice and yeah, just playing with it and asking a lot of questions is definitely the way to get connected with your pendulum and get clearer
Yeah.
readings. Practice with telling it to show you yes, then say stop.
Hmm.
Practice getting it to stop. Like you saw, Katie and I can both immediately stop a pendulum.
Hmm.
Um, it takes practice to be able to do that.
Hmm.
And then, show me, no, stop.
Hmm.
Because the more you do that, the more in control you are of the energy, not of the answer, but of just the reading of the energy.
Hmm.
If you're worried that you're going to impact the answer, close your eyes, ask the question, and don't open them until you feel the pendulum moving.
Hmm.
Because some people say, "Well, I think I just influence it to tell me what I want to hear." Then
Hmm.
you do your reading with your eyes closed
And you can
because you
also
can't
avert
see
your
which direction it's going.
attention. Yeah. Close your eyes, look away, and think about something totally different. So ask
Hmm.
the question and then start thinking about what you're going to make for dinner or whatnot so that
Hmm.
you've taken some separation from it. That really helps. Yeah.
Does because it's easy at first to doubt it. Oh, that's just what I wanted it to say.
Hmm.
But over time, you'll discover that that's really not the case.
Hmm.
If you have a decision to make, like say you have a surgery coming up and you're wondering when you should do it, start asking, should I do it in September? If it gives you a no, should I do it in October? If it gives you a yes, should I
Hmm.
do it in the first week of October, the second week, the third week, the fourth week?
Yep.
Narrow things like that down.
Hmm.
Or I want to take a trip. Should I go this place? Yes or no? Should I go this place? Yes or no?
Hmm.
Those kinds of things that are already happening in your life
I've had
is
clients
a great
take
way to practice.
pendulums Christmas shopping with them to narrow
Yes.
down what to buy for people. Yeah.
Hmm. I've seen that too.
Well, again, if you're a very indecisive person, it's kind of nice to be like, well, the pendulum said this, so by God, that's what we're doing.
Hmm.
Or if it's just another good way to practice. Now obviously you're not going to put life and death questions in the hands of a pendulum, right? You're going
Hmm.
to also work with professionals like doctors and things, right?
Of
But
course, yeah.
for pendulums are so great for lost or missing objects. They are so great for making more mundane decisions. They're great for just practicing fun. There's a lot of
Hmm.
cool things you can do with a pendulum. Yeah.
I think doing it over fruit in the grocery store is hilarious. Is is this watermelon ripe? Like
Hmm.
people do that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep.
Hmm.
It really makes me laugh when I see somebody in the grocery store doing that. I'm like, that's my people. Yeah.
Hmm. Or you can use it to pick a stone if you're trying to buy a stone and you can't decide between two.
Hmm.
You hold the pendulum over both of them and buy the one that you get a yes on.
Yeah.
And if you get
Yep.
a yes on both, then you just buy both because that's just what I do.
Because the pendulum said to.
The
So what are
pendulum
you gonna
said, so I
do?
have to.
Yeah. I'm sorry, husband, but the pendulum said buy 30 of these. Amy said, when I was pregnant with my son, I kept trying to get spirit to tell me if it was a boy or a girl, and they wouldn't. So I pulled out the pendulum, and it was still and straight every time. Yeah, you don't always get to know.
Yep.
Sometimes there are just questions that you don't get to know the answer to. And the
It's very
pendulum,
true.
if it just won't tell you, that's why. Hey, Kev, if it won't tell you, that's why. If you're not
Yep.
getting anything, then you are likely just not supposed to know. Yep.
Yep. And accept that, don't push because you might push yourself into an answer that isn't correct.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
something to respect that sometimes we just aren't supposed to know.
Yep. Yep. That's just kind of the way it goes down sometimes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, we have 3 minutes. Any other pendulum questions or thoughts on pendulum?
I think that's the big thing is to just
Hmm.
practice.
Yeah.
Do it a lot. Do it on things that seem obvious because it's good to validate yourself on things you already know the answer to. It helps it to feel more real at
Yeah.
first. I will pause for a Nelly moment.
Yeah. Nellie decided to stop in and pay us a little visit. Yeah. Let's show them how long your ears are, bud.
Her ears are so long.
Show them how big your feet are. You want to show them how big your belly is? You don't.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Do I have a big belly too?
Oh, oh my goodness. Okay. Do you
They
want to
did
go
make
back?
it look
Go
very
peekaboo?
cool on Charmed. It's not quite like the pendulum isn't going to slam down on your piece of paper or your map, but it will spin over the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
I only have a couple of pendulums these days. I've had
Mm-hmm.
many over the years. This one I showed you is really my primary one. And then I have a tendency to use necklaces as pendulums a lot. Just whatever
Yeah.
I happen to be wearing.
Yeah.
Does Puppy trip over her ears when she runs?
Yeah. Yep. She does. And also just over herself, over those big feet.
Mm-hmm.
Scott said yesterday she was in the yard and just kind of went sideways and rolled several times, and he's not even sure what she tripped on. She just went down.
They're so big and clumsy when they're little like that because their bodies are way out of proportion.
Mm-hmm.
Look
You
so
know,
dang cute.
the first night we put her in her crate, she slept all night like an angel. Last night, she sounded like she was birthing a demon in that crate. She
Oh
screamed
no.
and bawled and howled and bayed. Scott got her
Oh.
up 4 times. For
Oh.
a little while, he laid on the couch with her. He took her out to potty. Then he got her in our bed for a few minutes, but that was not good because she was wiggly and our bed's not safe for a little dog to fall off. So then he got her out again. Finally, he just had to put her crate in the other side of the house and just let her do
Let
it.
her howl it out.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's so
Yeah.
cute.
But now her mother's home, so she can deal with that.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, we have done it. We have talked down to the end
Yes.
of the show. So have some fun with pendulums. We'll be back next week and we
Mhm.
can talk about it some more if you have any questions or if you've tried anything and want to share. Otherwise, we'll be back next week with all of our regular true crimey stuff, and we'll be back here on Thursday night per normal. If you would
Yep.
like to get a reading with Kristi, go over to eclectichealer.com. There's a way for you to book a reading there and put yourself
Mhm.
on her schedule. If you'd like a reading with me, head over to 12listen.com. That's number 1, number 2, listen.com. And you can find my profile right there. That's the hotline I work for. And I'm there every day. If I'm not, just do a callback request and I'll get right back to you. So that's how to connect. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, you guys take good care of yourselves. You know you're worth it. This has been yet another production of the Psychic
The Psychic
Sisters. Who are we?
Bye, everybody.